Alrighty guys, 2010 Chrysler Sebring. Y'all see that? Convertible, nice one. Anyway, here's the deal. So no start. Came in, no start. Now, guys, y'all know me. All my no crank came in as a no crank, no start. It's not the same thing. Okay, yes, they can be misinterpreted. All right, I need to know specifically which complaint that you have. Is it a no start, as in it won't start, or is it a no crank, as in nothing? You hear nothing, you get nothing. Okay, turn out this is a sometime no crank. See, as you can see, it's in the shop, and I didn't push it in, which should tell you that the time I turned the key, it actually started, and I drove it in. That's why more information is crucial. All right, got a hold of the customer. Yeah, sometimes you turn the key, nothing happened. All right, so you know me. Damn, might be a starter. All right, now if you've been following me for a while, you know all my no crank diagnoses start at the starter relay. However, this is a TIPM model car, guys. As you can see, there's no relays in here. However, I saw this like this. I said, oh, yes, yes. Woo, got some relays right here. Surely one of these is the starter relay. Well, first of all, let me show y'all the duplicate. Well, let me show y'all the fact that it won't crank. Now it won't crank, okay? See that? Nothing. Now, I could go up front, come back down, play with it, and it'll start right back up. As in a solenoid is given out, but normally you would hear the solenoid click. In this case, you don't. Now, you could very well have a dead solenoid to where it ain't making no noise. That's why it's crucial to gain access to the starter relay. It's only one problem. I was getting paranoid over here. Oh my goodness, where's the damn, where they hiding the starter relay at? So you know what I do? What any real good mechanic would do? Go to the damn wiring diagram. Let's go to the computer. Let me show y'all something. Alrighty, guys. As you can see right up here, 2010 Sebring, 2010 model. We have the 3.5 model. Now, this is the diagram for the starter. So I want to know directly where is the starter. This represents the starter. All right. So you got a ground. This grounded on the case. So don't worry about a ground wire. Naturally, you're gonna have the yellow wire. In this case, is yellow and violet that goes to the solenoid. That's where you get your signal from the starter relay. And of course, you're going to have the large gauge wire coming from the battery. In this case, the jump port. You know, it's spliced into the jump port. You got to have a way to jump the car off because the battery is underneath the wheel well, guys. That's why that's crucial. Okay. Now, over here, fusible links. Generator, fusible link. Yeah. So that's not my issue. Remember, I drove it in, so sometime this circuit is complete. So here's what we dealing with. This is why I need access to the starter relay. This is why all my no crank diagnostics are done at the starter relay. So let's follow this wire here. This wire is not going to a freaking starter relay. It is, however, going to a starter relay output. Guess what? Y'all see that? Circuit board non-serviceable. Guess what this is? The freaking TIPM. Okay, this is the TIPM, guys. So inside this TIPM on this circuit board, which is non-serviceable, is your starter relay output. There's no freaking starter relay. Oh my goodness. But my diagnostic is not complete. I just need this circuit in order to tell where my problem is. With a typical ISO relay, you can determine what you're not getting that's preventing you from cranking. Okay, follow me. So what I'm left to do is there's a break in this wire from the starter to the TIPM. There's a break right here. C101. C stands for connector. So I'm gonna find C101. I'm gonna stick 12 volts right here. It should fire off, right? Now, let me step back because I went to data. Do y'all know on data? On data. See, right now I can't get in it because it's dead. Anytime you pull up, yeah, I can't get in it because the TIPM is dead and won't allow my scan tool to hook up. Okay, so yes, it's looking more and more like a TIPM. The TIPM is the problem, but I want to see if I can lead you guys in the right direction. If you, and this is not a new car, it's a 2010. So I don't know what you guys doing. I don't know if y'all scan tool will allow y'all to do. I don't know. Let me find C101 and I'm gonna bust in there, send straight 12 volts to this, because that's all a starter relay, that's all a starter solenoid is looking for. 12 volts from somebody. Normally it comes from the starter relay. Okay, now remember guys, a relay, there's a lot of things going on in a relay. You know, you got, it's a core, so you got to have ground from somewhere, which usually comes from the PCM. That's a whole nother video. Let me find C101 and see what's going on. Y'all hold tight. All right, so what I'm gonna do, direct my mouse, we're gonna click right here, C101. That's gonna take me to this page. Now I need to view this connector's location. Okay, let's choose the engine we're working on. We're working on a Sebring with a 3.5. So we're gonna view Sebring with a 3.5. Let's view this. So that connector is right here. Big blue connector near, this is the TIPM. So it's connector somewhere in this area, guys. All right, let's go see if we can find it. Oh, righty, guys. What do we say? In this area, hey, we got two connectors right here. What I'm looking for is a 14-way connector. If I had to guess, this it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7 at the top. Likely it's gonna be 7 at the bottom. So this is a 14-way connector. Now, what color did we say? What color? Damn it! I hate when this happens. We got to go back to the computer. All right. According to the wiring diagram, here's connector 101. It has a number 6 right here. So we're looking for pin 6, which happened to be a yellow and a violet wire. Let's get it. So yellow and violet, pin 6. Okay, yeah, that's the one we chase. Pin 6. If I had to guess, don't guess, guys. Look at the back. Should be a number like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. So this is the wire we're looking for. So technically, if I stick 12 volts on this wire, this car should start up. But I don't want that 12 volts to back probe into the PCM. So what I'm gonna do is unplug this connector. All right, if I had to guess, this going back to the TIPM, and this one going down to the starter. Yeah, that horn is going. So I'm gonna stick 12 volts right here, which is right here. So there's no pin 7, just 6. 12 volts right here, that starter should spin over. Let me go grab a jumper wire. All right, so I got a jumper wire right here. I got one end stabbed into this positive connector right here. So again, what we looking for right here. So if I touch this and the starter cranks or crank over or attempt to crank, that tells me that part of the circuit is complete. Come on, baby. All right, let's see what happens, guys. All right, y'all saw that. So from this point on down, the circuit is complete. I'm simply not getting my feed, my input, my starter relay input from the TIPM. Now let me alert you of something. Okay, I can't show this. I was able to test this, or I was able to view this when everything was up. This is an intermittent problem. So like I say, I drove it in, I didn't push it in. So when it was working, y'all want to know what I did? I went to my scan tool. Under my scan tool, you should go to data. All right, data. Okay. When I was able to talk to the TIPM, this might be semi-new. It's not even on there, man. Somebody might have just put this on here. When I was able to talk to data, I went on the on the data, looking at inputs. So what you do, guys, you turn your key while you're viewing input. Turn your key to start. You're looking for to make sure this TIPM is receiving that signal. So if you go run and you see run, that means the TIPM saw that signal, and you go crank, the TIPM should see start. Guess what? It did at the time it was starting. Okay, I can't do it now because this thing is dead on the bus. It's not, I can't pull up the bus. I can't pull up a V. It's asking for a VN because this is unseen right now. So that explains the intermittent no crank. Okay? Yes. Now, remember, I don't know if y'all saw the last video I uploaded. Y'all see all of this? That's a new battery. It's a new alternator. That starter is new. So all of this stuff was replaced because of a no freaking crank. They interpreted the complaint wrong, which led them to diagnose it wrong. Look at all this money wasted. All of this money could have went on what they really need. That's why I advise you to take your car to somebody that know what the hell they doing. All right. Oh my goodness. Now, originally, you got to watch this video right here. This is the one I just uploaded on this car. The battery was dead because somebody left the key on trying to diagnose it. That's a new battery. So after I jumped it off, I removed my jump box. First of all, I verified I'm getting 14 volts. Everything is working. The battery is charged now. Okay? Yeah, the battery is charged. So from that standpoint, you don't need no battery, it don't need none of that. It needs to be figured out why it's intermittently not cranking. And my diagnosis is leading me to this only because the starter relay is on the circuit board. None of these are the starter relay. This is 2010. My brain is on 2028 model cars. So I do not know this shit by heart. I don't know what these represent. It's easy enough to find out, but I don't need to know. I don't care right now. I'm trying to figure out why this thing literally won't crank. So, like I say, y'all hear that? I just heard something. What was that? It's like the damn... Wait a minute. I might have power back. Did the TIPM just wake up? Let me plug this in and see what it crank. The damn thing like a ghost. Look at that. See that? This shit just start. Just wake up when it feel like it. Did y'all hear that? I'm glad the damn camera was rolling. Holy crap. Okay, I got some crazy lights on. But now I bet you I can see my I can see everything on the scan too. Guys, I need a TIPM. This TIPM wigging out. Okay. That's a long history. And I mean, I'm not one of those guys that go off history. You know, you look on the forum, you see people all the time. Yep, it's a TIPM. No, what's the word? The favorite word they love to use is notorious. That's the word I see all the time. The TIPM are notorious for going bad in Dodges. People that love to say that Dodges are notorious for bad TIPMs. But you still need to diagnose it and verify that the TIPM is faulty. So, yeah, you can do a big ass wiggle test. This shit just woke up when it felt like it. Could be a loose ground. But you heard that power? It just powered up and it just came back on. Even this PCM could be. Yeah, so while it's running, let me show y'all something. All right, yes, as you can see, my topology is back up. Now, let me show y'all what I was talking about. This is why viewing input data is so crucial. All right, so I'm under the TIPM WCM. No, what? Not wireless control module. That's not what I want. Hold on. Let me go to. This is the TIPM right here. TIPM. Now, what we're going to look at is data. This is what you should be looking at as far as trying to figure out. Here go these inputs. You see this? Ignition run. With the key in the run position, this should be on. Okay, where's the one for crank? Engine run, wheel speed, engine run, engine run. Ignition start. Okay, that's showing off because I'm not in the start position. That's why you need a scan tool sitting in the car. All right, you can take your key, turn it to start. This should go to start. It will literally use the word start. Okay, that lets you know your input to this module is being received. Okay, that way you can take your diagnosis elsewhere, because you know from the key up to this point is working. Okay, so now you're faced with the facts of the outputs. These are the inputs. What you need to concentrate on from this point is the output. The computer getting the inputs. Customer sat down in his car and he cranked it to start because he want to go, and the computer or the TIPM see that. Okay, I saw start right here. Fire it off. This internal freaking starter relay that, you know, car makers decided not to give you anymore. It's internal to the TIPM. So just fire it off, and it fires off. Now, if that's not working, that's where your diagnostic skills come in at. Okay, but at least I was able to test this before it went down. I'm back up again. It's an intermittent problem. Oh my goodness. So there you have it, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. This car needs a TIPM. This lady gonna be pissed. Number one, I don't even think this TIPM available anymore. Yeah, if it's not available on a PT Cruiser, what are the chances? It's the same. They use the same TIPM, different part number, just the same TIPM. Poor lady. She might have to give up her beauty of a beast. This is a convertible. She might have to let it go simply because it's discontinued. Now, can you get a used TIPM? I get asked that all the time. Absolutely. All right, but you're limited, or you used parts are just that, used parts. It's been used, and who knows what. If you get it from a junkyard car, you don't know what issues they was having. All right, I need a TIPM. I'm done. That's all I have, man. I hope y'all got something out of this, but that's all I have. Let me turn this off, wrap this up, and I'll see y'all in the next video. I gotta go.